Good afternoon, and thank you for inviting me to speak today. I have been researching a disorder that has been killing hundreds of people under everyone's radar. This disease is called anti-NMDA receptor infoliosis. It is an autoimmune disease where the body creates antibodies to attack the NMDA receptors in the brain, mainly affecting young females. The brain's normal functioning is disrupted by an inflammation caused by attacking of the antibodies. The protein, the NMDA receptors, help neurons communicate. It is the same receptor that is blocked by PCP or ketamine, both drugs that can make a normal person act like a schizophrenic, said by someone from the Boston Globe. The inflammation also causes symptoms like paranoia, hallucinations, aggression, as well as autonomic dysfunction, tremors, seizures, and many more terrifying symptoms. Anti-NMDA receptor infoliosis was first brought to my attention while I was reading the autobiography Brain on Fire by Susanna Callahan. At the beginning of this book, Susanna is a bright young journalist with lots of opportunities coming to her, but then one day she began with experiencing paranoia over the strangest things. Soon the paranoia was joined by intense mood swings that she still seemed unfazed by until she had her first seizure. Callahan went to get medical help, but every doctor diagnosed her incorrectly. She went to a psychiatrist to try and get some answers, but they were wrong as well. This is a horrific, crippling disorder that begins slowly but escalates quickly. She continues to describe her journey throughout the book, and when the disorder had finally fully taken over control, she wrote, "From here on, I remember only a few bits and pieces, mostly hallucinatory. The break between my consciousness and my physical body was complete. This is the beginning of my month of madness. This heartbreaking and inspiring story is what made me think something has to change. This disorder needs to be made public because this is a disorder that can turn a perfectly healthy person into a complete shell of themselves, and there needs to be something done. If this disorder goes untreated, it can be fatal. Anti-NMDA receptor infoliosis needs more attention because it is a quite rare disorder, but its effects can last a lifetime, if not caught early. A study was done in 2008 by the doctor that discovered anti-NMDA receptor infoliosis, Dr. Joseph Dalmute. 100 patients with anti-NMDA receptor infoliosis were involved to investigate the long-term effects after this disease. 25% of the patients involved died due to irreversible damage caused by this disorder. This is a problem we need to solve. There needs to be far more research done to learn what causes the disorder, but right now we do know how to cure it, but we need to learn how to detect it faster to prevent these long-term effects from setting in. Since the effects of this autoimmune disease can be reversed if caught early, and there's enough hope making this disorder have a significantly lower fatality rate. The problem is that it usually takes a doctor too long to diagnose the patient with anti-NMDA receptor infoliosis. However, if there is more funding and awareness brought to the disease, it would be easier and quicker for doctors to diagnose it. The way it is diagnosed now is first made through clinical symptoms like the ones I listed above, and then to know for sure a spinal tap is done and tested. But it can take weeks for all of the clinical symptoms to show up, and in that time the disease could have gotten strong enough to cause irreversible damage. I believe that in efforts to prevent, there should be an anti-NMDA receptor infoliosis protocol, being that any patients that show signs of brain inflammation should have a spinal tap done and tested in hopes doctors will be able to catch this earlier. All foundations surrounding anti-NMDA receptor infoliosis are all underfunded and not recognizable to the public. Our goal should be to make the anti-NMDA receptor infoliosis foundation into a household name by helping the foundation run fundraisers and advertisements to get their message out to the public. Thank you for taking your time. Thank you for allowing me to take your time today, and I hope together we can bring this disease down.